I have a good joke for you.
Oh, no.
If Matt Damon was...
Who's the man?
No, let's move on. Don't worry about it.
No.
Was that the joke?
Finish the thought. Because you've come out with a lot of things that you've called jokes recently. And I want to see if this stacks up.
No, it won't. Don't worry.
No, go on.
You can't.
Well, okay. The reason I don't want to continue it is I've forgotten a key part of.
Awesome.
I've forgotten the film I'm referencing. I've forgotten the
This whole bit
name.
was pointless then.
Yeah, mate.
I've forgotten the name of the film I'm referencing.
Yeah, how do you want this bit
It's
to
like
carry on?
Chekhov's gun. It has to be shot. That
Here's
has to
the
be
joke.
a gunshot.
Okay, if you can tell,
Someone needs to die.
you might find it funny because maybe you know the film I'm referencing, but I've forgotten it. If Matt Damon was a wolf, a werewolf, what would he say? How are you doing, buddy? Because he says that line in a famous film.
Does he?
Yeah.
Which one? Because I
Can't-
don't know it.
I can't remember it, but I did know it.
Is this original content?
What is this? Your Matt Damon fanfic that you're drawing from?
No, it's in a film where he's in it, and he said, "How are you doing, buddy?" But it's funny because he'd be a werewolf, and it would be, How are you doing?"
Fuck me. Right, so this week we're doing Between the Lines.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Forever in Bloom. I'm Liam.
I'm Seb.
I'm Beth.
And this week we are doing the first film. Nope. We are doing the first
It's wrong.
episode where we're doing a feature film for the whole length of it.
He's in a film, and we're just watching one of them. Because he's
Finally.
in it a bunch.
So, this
He's
film
in
is
it a
called
lot.
Between the Lines. Came out in 1977. Jeff plays someone called Max Arloft. It's great.
I want to come out right out the gate saying that two things about this film. One is that I felt kind of like I was in a fever dream the whole time I was watching it, and two, I actually really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I don't know where I sit on it yet. I mean, I
Okay.
only finished it 3 hours ago.
Interesting. Have an opinion.
I think it's the best Jeff we've got so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in a big way.
He's quite unpredictable, sometimes weirdly volatile. And I just get some serious Jeff energy from him in this, with a lot of blinking and stuttering and pointing and.
I read something that said, so Micklin Silver, the director, it said she relied on his obnoxious appeal.
Really?
Which I think really summed up his character.
Completely, yeah.
He really carried it through with his mannerisms, and I think that was him as a very early actor, kind of experimenting and kind of going out there.
I think he started to really find his feet here.
Yeah.
And, well, yes, I guess we should mention that this film is set in a local, a newspaper in Boston called Mainline.
The main line.
It's based on a real newspaper,
Yeah, it was, I had it somewhere.
Black Bay Magazine.
Was it Black Bay Magazine?
Yeah,
yeah.
because they're the Black Bay main line.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so like an alternative paper that was kind of post-war, as kind
Right.
of a platform for
I know that
alternative people.
The writer of this film spent some time at the original company and sort of used a lot of the experiences of his time there into this. But yeah, so a set of I guess the ensemble's 5 characters, something like that.
Something like that.
And it's essentially about them getting their newspaper taken over by a big corporate thing, buying them out. But that's a very, very B plot, I feel. It's mostly about the interpersonal relationships between them all and stuff. I felt like the actual purchasing of the business and that stuff took a bit of a backseat.
Yeah, I mean, the actual the real inciting moment of the purchase of the paper happens within the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The threat of it is there from the beginning.
Yes, the threat of it's there from the beginning.
It doesn't feel real of a threat. They talk about it a bit and then it's they kind of all forget about it and get caught up in their own shit and then it's oh shit, okay, they've been bought now.
Yeah, and that's how it ends. And it's a film I honestly did really enjoy this film, but I also feel like it does end strangely.
Yeah.
It resolves in a weird way. It doesn't...
I would like to make a point about that last scene. How much does Jeff look like Clyde Baxter from Next Stop Greenwich Village?
Yeah, he does.
He's literally wearing the exact same like greyish jacket that he was in one of the scenes, like big oversized jacket. He's got his hair slicked back and stuff. Ooh. Whereas the rest of the film, he's in like a jumpsuit and a bright jacket.
It's such a brilliant end because the whole way through the film, he tries to use his vocabulary and his charm to get women. And then he kind of runs out of all the options. And in the end scene, obviously, all his friends leave the pub and he's just left there and he hasn't got any money. So he just switches and he manages to get this guy to buy him drinks.
By telling him he's Max Arloff, the rock column writer.
And it's just a lovely bit of character progression where he's like, oh, wait a minute, I can get more than just sex with these skills
There's a moment like that just earlier on. The second that he hears about Michael, getting the book deal, he kisses him on the mouth and then it's just like...
A couple of bucks, I think you can lend me a couple of bucks now.
Yeah.
My favourite line he says is,
I can't smoke records, I can't eat records.
Yeah. That's a good line. There's a particular scene in this where I honestly felt like I was having a stroke or something.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And it's in the record store.
Okay, no, I'm thinking of something else. You carry on.
what bit?
What was the exact line? Okay, so it's as he's describing how to look for a good bootleg record.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
If it's warped, that's not what you want. You want straight. If it's black, the color, if it's shiny black, that's what you want. If it's gray, that's not what you want. So what do you look for if it's no good? 1. What do you look for? 1. What? If you see what, it's no good. 1. If you see what? 1. It's no good. 1. If you see what, it's no good.
What? 1.
1 what?
If it's...
What? What? What?
There was a lot of that sort of like Jeffism in this. There was one line where he was like, I think it was just before that scene, because he's taking the guy with him to teach him stuff, isn't he? And he literally says,
please take this. Please take this. Yes. Go. Come.
Yes.
Go, please take this.
I was thinking about this. You know, in A-level English, when you get a script up of real life that's been like translated onto page, and your teacher gets you to study the nuances of controlling language.
Yeah.
I was annoying I couldn't find a script for this one because he is literally
all over the place.
The blueprint. No, he's the blueprint for controlling language. Like the way that he intercuts with other people and the way that he's so controlling.
It's very natural.
With his it's so brilliant. I'm so annoyed I couldn't find a script because I think it would have just leapt off the page. He's so sharp. He like stands out compared to so many other characters. It would be
interesting to get like a pre-production script as well to see how different the delivery was from his lines and what they actually wrote down, because there's so much of just Jeff in this character. I feel that he's like, you can start to see the guy he is now is coming through a bit in this role, you know?
Yeah, he seemed very wrapped up in his own head.
He had a pretty strong look throughout the film. With
he
that
looked
fucking
incredible.
Green jumpsuit and then like bright orangey red like bomber jacket.
Yeah.
That he kept fighting people
Honestly,
for at the end because
he
they thought
sharp.
they stole it. My favourite scene in this film, I actually rewound it about 3 times to watch because it was incredible. And it was when the artist Hubert Fisk
my god
comes into the thing, just walks in, picks up a typewriter and just smashes it on the floor. Then hands a card to the receptionist and it just says like,
You have just witnessed a work of conceptual art by Herbert Fisk.
And then I've written down how it escalates and what they call
crazy.
each art piece. And he basically says, he smashes down the thing and he calls it...
I call that end of communication.
Is what he says. And then Jeff, Max Arloff, without saying anything, walks over, throws the corkboard off the wall and goes...
I call that paper in flight.
And then Hubert walks over, kicks the coffee machine's fucking ass.
He tries to fucking lay it out,
and punches the shit out of it. And then he goes...
Kicked coffee machine. With punches.
And then Jeff, in his response, punches a massive hole in the wall.
Starts pulling the paper away,
And then says...
Wall removed. With fist and fingers.
Love that.
Then Hubert goes back, pulls the coffee machine down and goes...
Dead coffee machine.
And then Jeff rips open the boss's shirt, Stanley, and goes...
Stanley exposed.
As the hawker guy...
Oh, he writes ha.
He writes ha with an exclamation mark
on his stomach. And then Hubert calls them amateurs and leaves. And I just thought that was such
a beautiful scene.
Beautiful moment. In fact, the guy, Raymond J. Barry, who plays Hubert Fisk, went on to do like a bunch of big things, but this was his first like cinematic film ever.
Honestly,
and, like, what a great role to jump into.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I watched that scene like a good number of times. Just it was great. That's like that scene, that like 2 minutes it lasts, is one of the purest moments of Jeff I think we've had so far on this journey.
I think it was a great moment.
I do want so there's a character you've been referring to whose name is Stanley.
Yeah.
And he's not the boss.
Is he not?
No, he's the advertising
Oh,
guy.
of course he is. You have to have a go at him at the start for
Yeah.
selling 4 full pages of adverts.
Yeah. And the first note I have when he walks in is, who's this Inspector Crusoe looking ass? Because he is dressed really fancy.
Yeah, he's a very fancy boy.
But he plays that slimy kind of coming on to everyone role very, very well. And one thing that I think, and there's that scene early on where I've forgotten his name, Frank, the editorial director, is walking him up and down the corridor, saying that I'm not a violent man, but when I leave, I'm going to punch you very hard.
Oh, yeah. He's just got him in a weird headlock.
Yeah,
and everyone's at the door, and then as soon as they turn around, they all just lean
they
back
fade
out
away through the door again. Yeah, it's great. But he pops up a number of times through this film, and he's kind of the antagonist.
Yeah, because he is like the poster child for all the bullshit, like the corporate world trying to buy their
He's kind of the link between, isn't he? He has to communicate between both,
like the publishers and the writers, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's that one guy, that kid, that was just trying to get that interview the whole time by just quacking. At the dude at the party. Do you remember when he was just like near him, and then he'd turn around and he'd be like, "Can I get an interview, please?"
Yeah. So this whole B plot was because Jeff spoke to him about the bootleg records. He was like, "I'm gonna try and get an interview with this guy because it's we have to assume a relatively famous guy who is also this mystical duck,
right? Who
was the bootlegger."
Oh, I honestly did not clock the duck thing.
It's because his name was Duck.
Oh, I just thought this dude was losing his fucking mind.
So the code name for the bootlegger was Duck.
Yeah.
And his actual name was, I can't remember what it was. It was just a normal person name, who was well known in the community for having a big audio studio, vinyl press, and he was a producer and stuff. And this kid, whose name I don't know, but I did write down that he looks like a neek, the whole time is just trying to find a story. And when he stumbles across this one, he goes hard at it. He impersonates a radio DJ to try and get him to talk to him.
He fails at every opportunity.
He's not a good journalist, investigator at all.
And then gets the shit kicked out of him later on.
Yeah, he's, and then, he goes to this party, quacks at the guy, just from behind plants and from adjacent chairs. And then gets the interview, but what actually happens is he goes to the place, and this guy's 2 henchmen just really make him eat dirt and kick the shit out of him.
It's quite sad, isn't it? Although Jeff has a great moment where...
He
runs up to one of the guys, swings a punch, completely misses, gets propelled backwards, falls on the floor. The camera's still in the same place. Yeah. He stands up, back in shot, runs forward, and just lands on the front of the car.
Yeah, and then he's trying to rip the antenna out so we can beat him with it.
Yeah,
and they're already in the car.
Does he pull out a sword?
It's the antenna from the car.
It's the antenna.
Yeah, antenna. And then he's basically just getting all the other guys are driving away by the time he's got it out. So he's just swinging it.
As they drive away, the thing he says is he calls them pernicious eel shits.
Poor dumb bastards, let me go! Pernicious eel shit!
David.
I did not clock that.
Which is really good.
Is this the first on-screen public outing of Jazz Jeff or Jazzy Jeff?
I think it might be.
Because when they have the jam after the party.
Yeah.
And he is playing that piano straight up. I was watching his hands and he is fully playing that piano. And I just thought that was great that he, as soon as there was an opportunity to get Jeff on the piano, he's there playing jazz piano.
Yeah, it's very him, isn't it?
It is very him.
Also, another power move by Jeff in this was when they were trying to drive to save that kid from getting the shit kicked out of him. There's that car crash that's blocking his car, and he's screaming, "Move your cars!" And he just slams his fist down on the bonnet, and the guy's car door just falls off.
Now you know who you're dealing with, is what he says.
Yeah. He's got real chaotic energy throughout this whole film, and I absolutely loved it.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, so what would you say to give this for True Blue, man?
8.
I gave it 8 as well. I thought the courage he had to throw in those insane mannerisms is exactly how he comes across in his interviews now.
That's true.
So I gave it a pretty high number.
Yeah, we're doing all of these out of 10 now, aren't we? All of the ratings.
Yeah.
So I think I gave it 7 because I put there's so many Jeffisms, but there's kind of an angry undertone in this character that I don't feel Jeff has.
Maybe he doesn't have it now. Maybe he did when he was younger.
A bit of young angst.
Yeah. So you kind of brought it up earlier, but at the end of the film, I've lost his name. Clyde Baxter.
Clyde Baxter.
So at the end of the film, he looks exactly like Clyde Baxter.
And he also mentions that he's moving away.
And this is it.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
a joke, though.
It is a joke, but Beth, play with me here.
Play in the space.
Don't just fucking. I'm not just.
He's joking. He's not leaving.
Okay,
Or
okay.
maybe he is.
Well, yeah, we don't know that. So, stay in your lane. This is. I think. So I'm going to connect 3 dots here.
Okay.
Which is, here, he is working as a reporter in Boston. Mm-hmm. We know that he spends some time. We know about it for 7 seconds, but we know that he spends some time as the editor of a magazine
In LA.
in LA
For Annie Hall.
for Annie Hall.
Yeah.
No,
No?
no,
Not Annie Hall.
not Annie Hall.
Oh, California Split.
California Split.
Yeah.
He's in it for 7 seconds. He's the editor of a magazine. We know that. So those two, conceptually, are connected.
Completely.
We also know that he spent some time as an actor in New York.
Yes.
In Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
I believe that what ended up happening was he went from this role here as Max
reporter.
Arloft, as a reporter, had a brief stint of being an editor at another magazine that paid him more, because this whole time he's looking for a pay rise in
That's
this
true.
film.
That's very true. He says he can't live on $75 a week.
Yeah. And then I think he says, I know where there's more money going. The acting world. And I think that this is exactly a
You
chronological
see his
order
transformation into Clyde Baxter.
into Clyde Baxter.
So the end of this film, he's kind of halfway there.
He's
into
becoming
being
Clyde Baxter, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why does he change his name?
To disappear, to become, a new person in each
People are going to be
place.
looking. Everyone's going to see Max Arloft and think of the rock column writer. He
Yeah.
wants
Oh,
to
that's
be-
true, because he uses... Or maybe Max Arloff is not his real name and it's just the name that he uses.
Oi, what was it? Was it Charlie? His actual name in Next Stop Greenwich Village.
Charlie Baleknikov.
Because he has 2 names in that film as well.
Yeah.
This is so
Yeah,
confusing.
Clyde Baxter is his acting name.
I need to write this
But I
down. I
think
need a
it's-
mind map.
I think it's Charlie Baleknikov.
I'm going to get you to do a map out of your timeline at some point.
Yeah, I will. Now, because this is the 9th film.
Yeah, it's starting to.
I think from
For
now.
all the visual learners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I think
starting
from
to
this
paint
point,
a real picture here now.
Yeah, I'll put together a good graph. But I'm glad that you also picked up on the fact that he looks just like Clyde
As soon as he
Baxter.
came on, I
Yeah.
saw that like oversized jacket, and it looked like his
And the
hair was
slick hair.
extra slick than
Yeah.
it was the rest of the film. I was like, yeah, man, he's got real Clyde energy at this point.
Yeah. He was just brilliant, wasn't he?
He was the film for me. Like as I was a bit invested in Harry's storyline, with him kind of not being as invested in the writing anymore, because he can't do like the deep expose investigative journalism he used to be able to do. So kind of just pissing and moaning and being a bit angry about things all the time. And I kind of got invested in his plight a bit. But in general, I think they're like a lot of this cast. Like I don't feel is good company. Like they don't seem like the nicest people to just be around. Whereas
They're
like
very self-absorbed.
yeah, and even though Max Arloff, Jeff's character, is as well, there was so much like unpredictability and energy that he had that I was just like every scene he was on, I perked up. Like
I think he, even though he took himself very seriously, you could tell that from the performance point of view, he wasn't taking it.
he knew what he was doing. He was playing that perfectly. Yeah.
I think a lot of the other characters were played straight, probably under the direction.
Yeah. I think there's only so straight that Jeff Goldblum can play things, because just
Yeah.
naturally he's just quite a
Exuberant
chaotic
individual, yeah.
exuberant guy.
Yeah. I thought it was nice how it touched upon all the different like emotions that can come out of being a young creative.
Wanting to move, but being scared for a career move, but not wanting to move away from the people you're around,
Yeah.
and a bunch of and just the turmoil of doing the thing you like but not getting paid enough to do it. So it's like,
Yeah.
I need to be doing this, but I can't keep living like this.
I found it
kind of
really
thing.
relatable, actually.
Yeah, I did too as well.
Yeah.
I would
Sometimes
actually
too real.
recommend it
Yeah, a little bit.
to most of my friends. Yeah, a little bit too close to home.
Craft then. I gave this 5 out of 10
I'm agreeing with you.
because I said there could have been a better balance between like the professional and the personal storylines.
Yeah.
And there were lots of nice moments that did make me smile, but most of them were just involving Jeff and Max Arloff characters and the scenes involving him. So I just kind of felt that like down the middle, 5 out of 10 was just like an even.
I think that's fine.
That's
I'm not a
fair.
big fan of the way the film is shot necessarily.
It was quite static, wasn't
It's
Yeah.
very static.
Doesn't move
I
much.
can sometimes like that, but it did feel a little bit dry in terms of the cinematography. I don't think it stands out at all.
I felt like there were a couple of shots, and I can't really. There's no point describing some of them now, but I felt like there were some points where the camera was sat. I was like, if you just moved that like a foot up, a foot to the left, that would be so much nicer.
The budget, the lack of budget kind of showed in that sense, and
I
it
think-
would have been so much more full of life if they had the money to have more of a range of shots. Yeah.
Does this film pass the Bechdel test? I'm going to say no. I didn't.
Yes.
Does it?
Yes, it has the scene where Lynn and the other two are talking about their crafts, and they're all being super lovely to each other and bigging each other up. And it's actually a really beautiful scene. Actually, one of my favorite scenes involved Lynn. So obviously Lynn is constantly fighting this typical 70s stereotype of being a female receptionist. And I loved she spends the whole film being lovely to everyone and smiling at everyone, and then in her last scene she just grabs the office phone and slam dunks it into her creepy manager's dick.
It's so
the
good.
Salesman guy.
That's brilliant.
And then she actually like gets a quite powerful moment where she stands up and actually leaves, doesn't she, and says like, I don't want to be here anymore. This is getting.
You don't need to remember. You don't need to learn my name because I quit.
Yeah, which is powerful as fuck.
Super powerful.
what an exit line.
What a mic drop, you know.
Yeah. So what did you guys give it for craft?
5.
I gave it a 6.
6. Yeah, that's cool.
One other thing I do want to point out, just on the Jeff front, has he been eating in every film?
Yes, I noticed. I wrote a note for this too. He's eating crisps again.
He's eating crisps, and then there's the scene of the bar where he's just got like half a sandwich falling out of his mouth.
I think he eats in every film.
I think this might be something we need to keep track of.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Definitely
he
keep an
eats in
eye out for
every
that.
film.
I think I may start compiling what he eats and how much he eats in each film. Enjoyability, I put 4 out of 10. I get to give it a bit of a low end because some parts just really dragged to me, and I felt myself getting a little bit sleepy at points. I mean, yes, yesterday I did stop halfway through and accidentally fall asleep for 3 hours.
This is very true.
But when I carried it on today, there was a couple of scenes like when those kind of interpersonal things had just taken up too much time. I was just like, oh, okay, please move on.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 because I really enjoyed it, but I did feel like the characters and their conversations were vessels, and I felt like it could have literally been a radio play.
Yeah.
The visuals didn't actually contribute much.
No, not really
It was
at
all
all.
in what they said and how they said it.
And I think because they are quite self-centered characters, that kind of turned me off really investing in each one of them, because I was like, there's something so much larger than you going on here right now, and you're kind of just ignoring it.
Yeah.
So I gave enjoyability 7.
Oh, fair.
I genuinely had a really good time with this film.
Cool, man.
And I didn't think I liked it, and then at one point it just clicked. And that point was the scene where we were talking about earlier, where the young like intern reporter, whoever he is, is cycling to the place where he's going to meet them.
Yeah.
And it's the same scene where it's cut between him cycling with some great tune playing and like Jeff slamming his hand on the car.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
like
then they're in the car just like bickering with each other.
It's probably the only bit that has like some climactic tension to it.
This is the first film that's had a fart joke in it.
Is it?
That we've watched.
Yeah, it's something like he says something dying here, and he's like, "Well, I'm just nervous."
So good.
Yeah, really good. Like it's the first fart joke we've had in these 9 films.
Is that something you're keeping an eye out for? Is
Just
it?
you know, it's just if,
content and
if I
fart
notice
jokes.
if I notice something.
Really going for the highbrow things.
But no, I really liked this film.
That's fair, man.
Well, we're on a mission to find Jeff Goldblum's fartiest film.
That's true. But no, I think I'm going to say this is my favourite film we've watched so far.
Really?
Hands down, no question. This is
Interesting.
my favourite film.
Yeah.
watched so
I'll be interested to see where it comes out on the table actually, because I don't know where this is going to fall.
So I'm currently inputting the numbers.
Nice. So no more Jeff. I put this film for me loses 80% of its charm the second he is gone.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested to know whether him not being there to like battle Hubert, the conceptual artist.
Oh my god, that's literally what I.
Would he have got an interview? Because he wanted to have an interview. He smashed the typewriter.
Well, I had the thought that if he hadn't have had the avant-garde performance standoff with the Boiler Suit Man, they would have ended up doing a feature on him potentially.
Yeah.
And then the attention that the magazine might have got when the guy at the start says they get an offer a week.
Yeah.
they might have started to get offers from like avant-garde experimental theatre
This is
bodies.
literally the exact like train of thought I went down earlier.
which there was a lot of in America at that time.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the crescendo of the film might have been just a load of naked hippies rolling around in a giant performance orgy.
That could have happened, yeah.
So it could have been a very different film if
What
Jeff
if
wasn't in it.
Hubert Fisk became the new editor of the magazine? They're just like, he smashed the typewriter. He's a genius. Get him in.
We don't need typewriters at this magazine.
We yell our news to the world.
Oh.
I'm glad you went down the same thought, because that was like the main thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Hubert. He was the one thing that turned him away.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him.
He out-nutsed him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like this guy claimed to be an artist, and if just a reporter can just do his job better,
Yeah.
maybe he's not cut out for it.
I love that scene so much.
It's yeah, I watched it a couple of times. I really
actually
enjoyed
thought
it.
that if I could make a change to it, it would just be to have a post-credit vignette of Jeff and Boiler Suit Man doing like
Just an extended version of that.
Yeah. Essentially.
In like a junkyard, just smashing shit.
Both in boiler suits.
They were both in boiler suits,
The
weren't they?
boiler
Anyway?
suit look
Was
is
he?
something
Jeff
I
was
can
wearing that
really
like
get down
boiler
for.
suit. The whole.
What was he wearing?
It was the green like zip-up boiler suit, and then like that orange and red like bomber jacket with like the black stripe
His
down the
fashion
side.
is just incredible.
He
in
looked
all
fucking
these
great
films.
in this.
There were actually 3 simultaneous scenes. Simultaneous isn't the right word.
Consecutive.
There were 3 consecutive scenes all about the shit that women get in the workplace.
Yeah.
There was the one where Abby gets told that she's like threatening his position
Yeah.
and his authority.
Yeah.
And, you know, he says like stick to taking the photographs.
Yeah.
So obviously that proves like the fear of women taking men's jobs. And then the one after that is
When she gets dressed up.
No, although that does happen
That was
straight after that.
I thought that was quite sad, man, because like she's
It
actually
is sad.
enjoying like getting a makeover from this
Yeah.
woman, and then Harry walks in and like laughs, and she just like rips the whole
I
thing
thought
off.
I
and
don't
sits
know
down.
whether it was trying to say that, because obviously I think you were supposed to be more invested in their relationship, and that's why when they get together at the end, because I didn't really care
No.
the whole way through. I was like, oh, they've just got a thing, and then when he slept with the other girl, I think it was supposed to be shocking, but it wasn't really that shocking.
No, that yeah.
They all seem like pretty like.
They
not
all just seemed
terrible.
kind of
They're
fluid,
not the
didn't
best
they?
people, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but I think the point, I don't know whether the point with that was they were trying to make that what they had was deeper than friendship, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like he was just attracted to her all the time. It was like they could have a joke, but obviously she wanted more than that.
Yeah.
But the scene after was when with the other girl where she her boyfriend, who she doesn't really love, kind of comes onto her, and she says, why is it always just when I'm about to go to work? And that
That's
touches
right,
on
yeah.
another topic for me of men kind of fetishizing the idea of
Yeah.
women are just working because they like a powerful woman.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's another one after, which is Lynn, and she's getting kind of scrutinized because she didn't adhere to her manager's advances, and he kind of uses it
right,
against
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So I thought it was actually pretty profound, considering it was a male writer, for it to touch upon all those different
That's true.
subjects.
I wonder how much the director had to say on some of these parts as well.
Yeah.
Because Seb, what was your change?
So, sorry, I just had a thought. A change in terms of no Jeff, or a change that I would just like to change in the film. What stage are we at here?
Do either, mate.
I think I skipped ahead.
Because
We did know Jeff.
I took a little I took a little
Brain
vacation.
detour, did you then?
Yeah, I was really.
Are you back in the room now?
Yeah, I was trying to connect another dot in my Blumiverse theory that I got really deep into. So my major change for the film is actually a craft change.
Okay.
And it's not the cinematography thing. I would have loved, like, an almost Birdman-esque soundtrack.
Right, I like sort of chaotic jazzy kind of
Yeah,
drums.
but like very, very almost like the music is narrating what's happening.
right, yeah, a
'cause,
bit like old Disney stuff where everything
Kind
was
of, yeah.
like
have
Minnie the
you-
Moocher kind of thing
Yeah.
where everything is reacted to the animation.
Yeah, there's something about this film, the energy in this film, that kind of made me want that a lot.
Yeah, there wasn't loads of music.
There
in this
wasn't.
film, was
There wasn't.
But when it was there for ages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the band scene, that classic like
They played for like
skipping
12 minutes.
I know. I was gonna count how many times they reprised that same song. But it is like the classic thing of like switching from really intense like intimate drama to back
Yeah.
to the band, back to the closeness, back to the band. But it just did it so much. It
Yeah,
got really
definitely.
tiring.
It was a bit. I'd put my change either excuse me, either more fighting against the big business boys.
Yep.
Or, I don't know why I wrote this down, but I put everyone but Jeff should be puppets. And there was just an idea that the energy of this character just reacting to, like, puppets. Really wanted that.
That would be incredible. If it was like, oh my god, what's that show called? There is a sci-fi show that I love dearly from, like, I'm going to say 80s to early 2000s.
You think Mystery Science Theater?
No. It started as a parody of Star Trek. The name will come to me. It's really, really good. Half the cast are humans, half the cast are puppets.
And I'm just weirdly into that.
Very
shit, man.
Muppet-like puppets. It's so good.
There's something about just Jeff's character, I think, interacting with a much more chaotic cast of puppets.
Can I just say, band name, the Muppet-like Puppets.
I like that.
So, something I've discovered about this whole journey we've set ourselves on is the how much Jeff. So I'm timing how much screen time Jeff has in every one of his films.
And harder for you.
It's going to get harder.
Are you including like fleeting arm or eye or like?
Yes, I literally have a timer open on my phone in my hand. The second he comes on screen, I press it. The second he's gone, I press it again. If it's a really tight one, I will genuinely do it a couple of times to make sure I got it right.
Yeah.
What was the time then?
He was in this film on screen for 22 minutes and 3 seconds.
That surprised me considering it's an hour and 41 runtime. I feel like he was in it a lot more than that.
Yeah, he's quite a key part to it, but
It's quite interesting how, because every time you've said the number, it's shocked me, and it proves that we place value on the impact that people have on screen as opposed to the amount of screen time.
Yeah, that's true. He just stole every scene he was in, so I think because he made such more of an impact, you think about him more.
You remember the strong characters, because I bet Abby the photographer was in it for at least half, and she just didn't have much of an impact.
So I've got a game which we need to have a name for.
Okay.
But that will come.
Great.
Basically, I've taken the tagline from this film, and I've written 2 other taglines for this film, and I want you two guys to figure out which one is the real one.
Okay.
So the first one we have, all the news behind the news.
Okay.
Fun adventure romance on $75 a week, or they shook things up but nothing changed.
Oh.
They shook things up, but nothing changed. I feel like that one is a bit unimaginative, that you might not have written that. So I think that might be the one. But I also think the first one might be the one. So can I phone a friend?
What, Seb, next to you?
Seb?
So, hello.
Do you want to hear them again?
Chris Darren here.
No, so I...
Chris Darren impression.
All the news behind the news, fun adventure romance on $75 a week, or they shook things up but nothing changed.
So I'm sorry to roast you if you wrote it, but the middle one sucks.
What,
I
fun
like the
adventure
middle one.
romance on $75
Yeah,
a week?
and I also have a feeling that that's maybe
Give your votes. Tell me what you want.
I think it's the first one.
You think it's all the news behind the news?
All the news behind the news.
Seb?
Actually, no, because they say that in the film. So maybe that's why I think that. Maybe I should go for my gut feeling of the third one.
Well, I'm going to go for all the news behind the news.
Okay, I'll go for that one as well.
Be your own Beth is what I was about to say. Be your own person.
Is it the third one?
No. What do you want to do? Do you want to go with Seb or do you want to go with your own?
I'll go with my own.
Which was, they shook things up but nothing changed.
Yes.
You're both wrong.
Fuck off!
The middle one!
The real one is fun adventure romance on $75 a week.
Liam, you need a new job, and that's copywriter. Because both of those are way better than the
So I
actual
kind of
tagline.
just changed quotes from the film to use
Right.
for taglines.
Smart.
So at some point someone says all the news behind the news and I was like, fuck it, that would easily be on
He
one.
says that in the opening scene.
Yeah, and then the other one is Harry, like when he's in one of his solemn moments, says like, we shook things up but nothing changed. So I used it as they shook things up but nothing changed.
You sneaky bastard.
Those two are lodged in my brain.
I'm glad that worked because I was just like, this might fucking fall
Yeah,
flat on its
that
ass.
fully worked.
Okay, good.
Can we do this next week?
Yeah, we'll do this on everyone. Hopefully I'll stay as good.
I can't wait for the Jurassic Park one.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, I literally wrote this as soon as the film finished, and I was just like, I need to just scribble these out while the movie is fresh in my mind. But I'm glad that worked. So you both fail immediately. So, Seb, where does that film fall in our table of films?
So I've been doing some math science. some real in depth. I've plugged it into the supercomputer.
You've been hacking the Matrix.
I've hacked into the Matrix, and before today, joint first was Next Stop Greenwich Village and how have I lost it? Annie Hall.
Annie Hall, yeah.
As of today, we have a new winner.
Woo!
Between the Lines is currently at 56 points.
50. That's like 10 points more than any films have scored,
high,
isn't it?
man.
Yeah, it's high.
Was it True Bloom? Because we all gave it quite high on
So
True
we've
Bloom.
all given it a high True Bloom, but also we both gave it a relatively high enjoyability, and we all gave it like a middling craft.
Fair.
So
I mean, I'm okay with that.
it's like, I mean, it's the same way that I think...
I like this more than Annie Hall and Next Stop Greenwich Village. So.
I think
Yeah.
I do. Actually, I think Next Stop Greenwich Village still has the top place for me in my mind.
It's got a special place in your heart. that
Special
film,
place.
isn't
Yeah. But this film was great. Oh my God. This film made me so overwhelmed with emotion that I lost the ability to speak.
it? Don't we all?
I mean,
Touché.
So, like, it's the same thing in that I think that Nashville as a film fucking sucks.
Yeah, dude.
But we all gave it a really high True Bloom rating because in that, he's a fucking cool dude, you know? He's a good dude.
But that's the thing. We're trying to find the best Jeff film, and the
Yeah.
best Jeff film has to have the best Jeff in it.
And
so.
currently, and we've given True Bloom for this pretty much the same as we gave for Nashville.
I'm happy for that.
And then I think we just all liked this one a bit more than Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking hated Nashville.
Yeah, I really
I mean,
did
you
not.
watched this film 3 times, Beth, which
did.
is crazy.
I did.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a
But
it's a
just this
really good
week.
film.
Was it just in this week?
I watched it in bits over a day.
Okay.
I watched some on my lunch break and stuff. And then I watched it again at night, and then I watched it again today.
Nice.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so currently leading with 56 points.
That's surprising.
Out of a possible 90.
That's kind of not surprising.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about where that's sitting at the moment.
A random like completely out of context quote I love is a goddamn crunchy granola.
Yeah. When he's just throwing cereal at her.
And
No,
she
no,
just
is this when he's throwing cereal at the floor to feed the dog?
Yeah, and then
feed
he
the
throws a
dog.
handful at the back of her head.
That's right.
and she just turns and looks really emotional.
Yeah, it's all
and
just
there's
stuck in her hair.
granola in her hair.
Well, yeah, so that was, I guess, was Between the Lines. Oh, wait. Before we leave, Jeff, if you ever hear this, if this ever gets to you, please come and explain yourself.
He's not gonna hear it.
I would love
Fuck
to
you,
talk
Beth.
to you.
He's going to hear it.
Yeah, Beth,
Gonna
fucking...
listen to this?
This
Beth,
is the secret.
Beth,
It's the law of
listen
attraction.
very closely. Eat shit and believe in yourself.
Thing is, I tried hard last week, by the way, because there was news that came out that Jeff was releasing a community number and that you could text him and he would reply to every text. But you would also get updates on his films and his music. But he said he's literally carrying 2 phones around with him. He released that and was like,
Why
oh,
the fuck did he do that?
promotion for his new TV
New
show
album,
with
one
Disney
new
Plus.
TV show or...
It seems so extreme.
And he's literally like, yeah, I'll get round to every single one. So I spent about an hour trying to get through to that American number. I finally got through using like different proxies to get me there. And it was like, sorry, we can't reply to anyone outside of the US and Canada.
Sad.
So I was hoping, and I literally wrote out a whole message of just being like, please, come to us.
Come to Bristol, UK.
Well, I'll say we'd do it over Skype. But I tried. So that was the first attempt of other than just asking on there. And we will think of more ways to get this man on this show to answer
we'll get him
for his beautiful crimes.
We're millennials. We know how to work
Yeah.
iPhones. We'll get there.
Just about, yeah.
But yeah, I guess thank you for listening. We'll be back. What's the film we're doing next week?
What is the film we're doing next week?
actually don't know. Let me
Liam,
check.
consult the oracle.
Remember My Name
Really?
or A Case of Immunity.
Let me have a little deek.
I think my list is different to yours.
Yeah, I don't know
So
how
by
that's
that you
happened.
mean it's wrong.
I just ripped it straight off IMDb. I don't know why you got your shit.
We
On the
also,
IMDb app.
Yeah, we
so,
also got a list from IMDb.
Oh, you trust apps over browser now?
Yeah.
Are
I'm
you
a millennial.
mental? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Beth, fucking download TikTok.
Okay, boomer.
My phone can't handle any more apps.
Thank God It's Friday
What?
is the next film I have. 1978.
What about Remember My Name?
Remember My Name is after that.
What about A Case of Immunity?
That is...
1975.
Doesn't exist, mate. Sorry.
You're full of trash.
You're trash, honey. You're garbage. It's not on here.
So
like I have
Thank God It's
after
Friday.
Annie Hall, we have Thank God It's Friday, Remember My Name, and then Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I am gust to watch.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
I can't wait.
So yeah, Thank God It's Friday. We'll return with next week, and thank you for listening.
Hey, do you know what I can say?
What?
Thank God.
Jeff we trust.
Yeah. I was gonna make a Thank God It's Friday joke, but that's all good. Peace out.
Maybe we should
It's
record it on a
Saturday.
Friday
Oh, I like that, Beth.
Yeah, we'll record it on Friday.
and
for
listen
sure.
to Friday by Rebecca Black
Let's not do that.
and Friday by The Cure. And have some fried eggs. Bye.
Bye.